I always say to men who come to me and they're saying, oh, I'm thinking about leaving my wife for my mistress. And I always say, your wife is a package and your mistress is a person. She comes with kids, shared memories, your families know each other. It's an entire package. Are you going to be okay with losing that for your one person? Because you're going to wake up and you're not going to hear the pitter-patter of your kids running down and fighting with each other, or you're going to be with this woman and your mum isn't going to call to see how she's doing, and all of these things that are a package when you're with a person for a long time. Are you sure you want to throw that away for one brand new person? Because they can't fill that void. And then they think about it and then they realize that they were actually just chasing a bit of attention.
Yeah. Because you don't realize that actually men need a lot of attention.
Oh, babies. They're babies. They're just tall babies, but they pretend that they don't. They mask it. They're like, I don't care. No, I'm fine. But they crave it. And instead of saying it, they seek it.
Yeah.
When all you have to do is express it. And of course, she's got two hands. She might be busy and she might not be able to meet your needs. And some women are really difficult about that. They just think, well, get over it. But we don't just get over it. We have to try. This is how relationships work. You have to try. And so the women that think, get over it, like, I've got kids, get over it, it's a slow suicide for their marriage. But the women that think, oh, shit, maybe I need to, get back on track with you, they tend to save their marriages.
Yeah, because I even know, like, I've seen a few marriages fall apart, and it always comes down to attention and communication.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you is, we've spoken about women being hard to date in Dubai. Why are the men hard to date here in Dubai?
Because they enjoy toxicity. They enjoy toxicity. They enjoy pleasure.
What do you mean by that?
Because Dubai is a pleasure seeker's island. Yeah. And by the way, I still want my visa, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but it is a pleasure seeker's island. What I mean by this is there's constant dopamine all day, every day. Praise be to God. Look at your view. Like, look at the dopamine when you look at your view and stuff. This is what Dubai is like. Every day is pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. So what happens is the brain starts to seek pleasure rather than peace. And when men or women, when they meet someone peaceful, they label it as boring. And they're always seeking somebody who gives them some form of pleasure or dopamine. And the best person that gives you dopamine is a toxic attachment. What happens with a toxic attachment is you get preoccupied with that person. You're thinking about them. Where are they? Why haven't they called? Blah, blah, blah. And that toxic attachment, they mislabel that as love. And it's just preoccupation. So they forget to look for peace. They consider somebody where it's boring, simple, monotonous. They consider that boring.
But the thing is, I get what you're saying, but don't you think, like, when you are in a monotonous, boring relationship, it can get boring. So how can you?
But here's the thing, life gets boring.
Yeah.
It's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People are constantly thinking, but my marriage has gotten boring. How do I change it? Well, how do you change it? Maybe you need to change your mindset and accept that life gets boring.
But surely you can just change your mindset about, like, trying to make things more exciting, and you can try and work on stuff and just become different. Because over time, when you meet someone from the start to, 10 years down the line, you change.
Yeah.
You have different interests, you have different things that you like, and things like that. Mm-hmm. But, like, surely, like, how do you maintain that? How do you maintain that?
You know what? My honest advice, I always say this to people, is of course it gets monotonous and difficult, but when you meet somebody, girl or guy, who kind of accepts that life gets a bit boring and understands that not every day is pleasure, but more so wants intimacy, connection, and stability rather than excitement, you're onto a marriage. Mm-hmm. Because that's what marriage is. It's not, you habituate to your partner, you get used to them. And people that seek stability, if you look at your parents' lifestyle and the ones that have lasted so many years, there's very little excitement. It's duty. It's duty, stability, predictability that they look for in a relationship, and that's what they strive for. They don't actually look for pleasure seeking and excitement. And I think, unfortunately, and I'm guilty of this as well, when the relationship loses its excitement, we assume it's lost its love.
Yeah.
But really it's lost its novelty. And novelty is only available in new relationships. So what happens is people are craving the feeling in new relationships rather than enjoying the stability of existing relationships.
Wow, that's so true.
That was a good line.
That was a good...
I made that up on the spot, but it sounds good.
No, literally, it sounded... I think sometimes, like, even I've seen a lot of marriages fail because, like, they're like, it's
craving
monotonous, it's boring, or she's boring, or he's boring.
And it's how society's conditioned us. We like I remember when I was a kid watching TV, I'd have to sit through adverts and be bored through the adverts, or even in the cinema, I'd be bored in the adverts. But now